You can acquire real estate at a discount. It can be done multiple different ways. The principles are, pretty clear and make sense. We're not taking advantage of anyone, but that it's just, this is how you can do an alternative way of real estate. You don't have to, pay retail for real estate. You're not looking for pretty houses, right? We're not looking for pretty houses. What are we looking for?
We're looking for distressed houses. Distressed is discount.
Yeah,
it's
right.
a simple way to think about it.
If you think wealth is about luxury cars, designer jewelry, or exotic vacations, you're in the wrong place. We're not concerned about your net worth, your 401k, or how much debt you have. Our approach is much different because real wealth isn't only about money. It's about freedom. Freedom to work because you want to, not because you have to. Freedom to pursue your purpose, live on passive income, and build a legacy. That freedom starts now. Welcome to the Real Wealth Formula with Brad Hovis, where each episode breaks down the principles, mindset, and practical steps to help you experience financial freedom today. Real talk, real numbers, real freedom. This is the Real Wealth Formula.
This episode is brought to you by Reibiz.com. You've probably seen the same old stuff in your feed. Invest in a franchise, start an ATM route, buy a car wash, launch a vending machine side hustle. Cool ideas, but here's what they don't tell you. The good ones are way too expensive, and the cheap ones barely cash flow. But there's a business model that's quietly producing big paydays as well as monthly income for people working from home, a coffee shop, or even out of their pickup truck. Visit Reibiz.com, that's Reibiz.com, to see how it all works. Hey muggles, welcome to the Real Wealth Formula. We have a question today, which is how to acquire real estate at a discount. My friend John here is there to answer that question. So John, tell us, how do we acquire real estate at a discount?
Well, real estate's a broad term. For what I've been focused on in my real estate career has been single family homes.
Okay.
And for single family homes, there's really, I think, three major ways. One is wholesalers, which I predominantly get my deals from. You can go direct to the seller, and you got realtors. Mm-hmm. Right now, realtors are a little bit tougher. They're typically pretty houses that are fixed up and they're selling at a retail, not at a discount.
Yeah.
So I've had most of my success either direct to seller and with wholesalers. With direct to seller, it's difficult. You've got to have some sales skills.
Yeah.
You're asking, somebody's going to sell their home to you, and you got to get it at a discount. It can be difficult, and it can be difficult to find them.
And you mentioned, dealing with realtors, how they're dealing with, well, you said pretty houses, right? You're not looking for pretty houses, right? We're not looking for pretty houses. What are we looking for?
We're looking for distressed houses. Distressed is discount.
Yeah,
it's a simple way to think about it. And that's why, the direct-to-seller game it's difficult to find them. It's difficult to close them. If you're doing any sort of marketing, it's expensive. So my perspective has always been, hey, the wholesalers are spending a boatload of money on marketing. They're getting houses. If they fit our criteria, then we can, negotiate with them. It's easier and I think more cost effective.
So like when we're talking about distress, that's how you're getting the discount. You said distress equals discount. Describe what a distressed piece of real estate, in this case, single family house, describe what a discount or a distressed house looks like. What are some telltale signs?
Yeah. So, I guess there's two different things you can be distressed. The actual house itself can be distressed.
Yeah.
So think about a house built in 1975 and it's never been updated, right? So
it's got shag carpet, pink tile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, houses that need updated or just quite frankly have been neglected.
Yeah.
Right. There's holes in the walls and
someone moved in 1970, has done nothing to it, passed away, went to a old folks home, something happened, and now we kind of have a time lapse for that house, 1970. Is that right?
Yeah.
So then when you're dealing with those type of houses and you're talking about working with wholesalers and sellers, what's the difference between a seller and a wholesaler?
Well, a seller is the person that actually owns the property.
Okay.
And you're dealing directly with them to try to negotiate.
Right.
A wholesaler has spent a bunch of money on marketing, right? And they're putting those deals under contract and then trying to find a buyer, somebody like me.
Yeah.
And in those situations, they've done some heavy lifting. They've done the marketing. They've found people that want to sell their home. They've negotiated price. Hopefully it's a price that is something we can live with, and we can always negotiate with a wholesaler.
Well,
right?
typically, how are you, what price point are you trying to get these houses at? Well, give us an example of a typical deal.
Yeah. So a typical deal for us would be, we're all in $175,000. So let's say it needs $30,000 worth of rehab. We're going to update the kitchen, the bathrooms. We're going to paint. We're going to put flooring in, etc. That's something we'd want to pick up probably, around 100 to 120.
Yeah. 120, put 30, 40 grand into it, all in 170, 60, something like that when you account for closing costs and all that kind of stuff. What would the market value of that house kind of be?
I think around 200.
200? Yeah. Okay. And then when you're dealing with the wholesalers, give us some tips on how to deal with these wholesalers. Because every time I deal with the wholesalers, it's always the house is worth 200, they want 190 for it.
And they're definitely out there.
Yeah.
And that's why you have to scratch and claw. You have to find them. You're digging through, Facebook, you're digging through groups on Facebook, you're Googling, and you're just having conversations, trying to find that person that isn't trying to wring the sponge on every single deal.
Yeah.
He's leaving some meat on the bone for an investor like me so that I can make some money. I obviously want him to make some money so he can continue to bring me deals. At the end of the day, they typically overestimate the ARV.
And ARV is?
After repair value of the home.
Okay. Yep.
And
so that's what it's worth once it's all fixed up.
When it's all fixed up, they historically always think the rehab is less than it really is. It's 10 grand. You get into it and needs.
Yeah. Doesn't have a kitchen.
Doesn't have a kitchen. Yeah. There's no windows.
Carpet paint, no windows, busted out windows. Yeah.
So you just got to find the right people. Yeah. And that takes some time. And that takes, talking to people and finding and building relationships.
When you're dealing with wholesalers and realtors even, are you giving them offers? And then help us understand the process. Because we want for our moguls to understand how to actually get these discounts, right? How to actually get this real estate at a discount. You see this listing, walk us through the typical path or the typical process for you to get these deals.
Yeah. And so let's say a wholesaler sends me over a deal. So I've talked to him. I've got to know him a little bit. Okay, this is what I'm looking for. So they send me a property. And I will say that we're dealing with wholesalers, speed is critical.
Okay.
Some of them, if they're tenant occupied, sometimes, you'll work to put together an offer that works for me. And then it'll be contingent on getting out to see the house. A lot of times wholesalers, they want you to go look at the house and give you an offer that doesn't have any inspection contingency on.
Okay.
So depending on the situation, it could go down either path. So that's where speed's key. So you've got to have boots on the ground. You've got to, if he sends you a deal in the morning, get out there in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Right. Don't wait 2 days.
Get him an offer ASAP.
Get him an offer ASAP.
Yeah.
An offer that based on looking at the house, taking pictures of videos, knowing what your rehab's going to be, and putting an offer together that works for me, and hopefully it works for him.
So if he's got this house and he wants 190 for it, I mean, help us understand how sometimes you got to carve out a discount with this your offer. Do you even care what he wants for it? Or I mean, is it just
it's what works for me?
It works for you,
yeah.
Right.
And that may not work for him.
Yeah,
but I will tell you that it's not uncommon. In fact, I just did a deal last week where they were asking 119. The wholesaler was asking 119 for it. Ended up getting it for 95.
95. What is that? A $24,000 discount? I got my math right there.
Yeah.
$24,000. He's wanting that, and you carve out that discount.
Yeah. And I carved it out by explaining to him, man, look, this thing needs 40 grand worth of rehab.
Yeah.
You're
not just coming up with numbers.
No.
You're trying to give a reasonable approach to this, right?
Yeah.
And typically, what kind of responses do you get from these wholesalers when you're, asking for a discount?
Well, it varies. Sometimes, wholesalers in the business of making money.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're trying to make 40 grand.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, great. I mean, great if you can make 40 if it works for me.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it goes back to having an unrealistic after repair value and unrealistic rehab number.
Yeah.
And sometimes you just got to educate them. Say, hey, man, this is 40 and here's why.
Yeah.
So if at 40, I need it at 95.
I mean, you're not batting 1,000, right? Making offer. How many offers you making to get a deal?
It kind of ebbs and flows, but I would say 15 to 20 probably.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're out there, and is that with wholesalers and realtors, or is that a combo piece?
That'd be a combo.
Yeah. So you're dealing with these people who have these houses. They say investor special, bring us your offers, sellers motivated, all these, marketing phrases. They either email you, call you, text you. Is that pretty much how they're getting a hold of you?
Most of the time it's either email or text.
Okay. And then you're calling up, reaching out and saying, let me do some due diligence, boom, boom, boom. Does it meet my buy box? Which, by the way, what is your buy box?
So I'm a single family
home
guy. My buy box is a 3-bed, 2-bath.
Okay.
because mama wants her own bath, right?
That's right.
1,500 square foot, a home, prefer brick, just from a maintenance perspective, with a carport or garage in a B or C neighborhood.
If you're an active real estate investor and you're not using FreedomSoft, I got bad news for you. You're getting beat. Beat by other active investors who've been utilizing this CRM software for well over a decade. We're able to close deals faster, more consistently, and with higher margins. So if you're tired of getting beat, go to realwealthformula.com/sponsors and click on the FreedomSoft link. Start doing more deals today. So explain what you mean by B or C neighborhood.
A B or C neighborhood is going to have, maybe let's say about 50-50 homes that are rentals versus homes that are owner occupied.
Okay. Yep.
It's going to have some commerce around it. It's not, Joe's Chicken Shack.
Yeah.
It's, a Walgreens and a, more chain type stuff.
Yeah.
And there's going to be some mom and pops in there, but it's going to have some commerce that you and I would know.
Sure.
Right.
Gotcha. A Chili's.
Brand name
something.
stuff.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the high level of how I describe it.
So you're not buying in the hood.
No.
You're not doing. So are you doing fix and flips? Are you doing?
We're doing long-term buy and hold.
Okay.
So, fix and flip. That's a great strategy and people can make money at it. It's just not what I choose to do.
Yeah.
I'm looking for passive long-term cash flow.
Yeah.
And then hopefully, obviously we hope it appreciates as well.
Okay. So let's say one of our moguls out here, somehow is getting some direct to seller leads. They're doing their own marketing. They've hired a service, something. What are some tips that you have found when talking to a seller of a distressed house? What are some things that they want? What are some things that you've been able to kind of help get things, across the finish line with them?
Yeah, I think there's a few things that I think most people don't do that they should do. The first one is make sure you're dealing with the decision makers. So for example, if you're talking to the husband, well, he's going to need the wife to sign as well. So you want to make sure you're getting the people that making the decisions on the phone, right? Because talking to the husband and you get a deal with him, he goes and talks to the wife, she says no, right? So that's one thing. And then I think the other thing is I've always done an upfront contract.
Okay.
What happens is you can have this long conversation and they're like, well, I maybe, or let me think about it, or I got to talk to my realtor buddy, whatever it is. So pretty upfront in the discussion, I talk about, hey, listen, we can come up with a price that works for both of us. Can you tell me yes or no?
Yeah.
Right.
And that's a technique from David Sandler, famous sales trainer with the President's Club, where he talks about, upfront contract. It's not a written contract, right? It's a verbal agreement that says, listen, by the end of this conversation, right, you're either going to tell me, yes, this works for you, or no, this doesn't work for you. Is that fair? Right. That way you're not getting strung along.
Right.
You found that to be helpful.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I can't. When I first got started, it was, I get to the end of it and think I've got something. And then all of a sudden I got to think about it. I got to do this. I got to do that. So I just hit it right up front.
Yeah.
And so that way it sets the tone for we're going to get to something, either yes or no.
Yeah.
Are not going to do a maybe.
That's a good tip. Such a good tip. I'm glad you remember that. So when you are dealing with those sellers, typically what are their motivations for selling? Why are they willing to take a discount?
Well, they could have some financial issues.
Yeah.
And it could be they just don't have the money to do the work to bring the house up to date. It could be that, maybe they had a death in the family. Mm-hmm. It's a variety of reasons, right? And that's why you got to figure that out when you're talking to them.
So you're asking a ton of questions. And
why are you looking to sell?
Yeah. And just letting them talk.
Yeah.
Right. So, I think that's some really good tips. Those discounts don't just happen.
No.
Like, it's not an easy thing necessarily. Mm-mm. It's possible. It happens all the time, but it does take some effort. It takes some effort. If I'm hearing you correctly, it takes some effort to get offers out to wholesalers, to get offers out to realtors, to look through a bunch of houses. If you're doing marketing, it takes effort to kind of learn how to sell to people. Yeah. This has been my experience, is I need to understand how to ask good questions, build rapport, figure out the decision maker, do this upfront contract, and ultimately talk about their pain as to why they're willing to sell this thing at a discount, right? Yeah. That's the outline. And so to kind of recap, to answer the how do you acquire real estate at a discount, it's, go find primarily wholesalers, not realtors even, right?
That's my perspective, yes.
Yeah. And so wholesalers, those guys, they've done the marketing. They put the property under contract. You're finding those people you set off, Facebook, Google searches, RIA clubs, just pretty much anywhere.
Yep, anywhere you can find them.
Okay. Meetups. And so then you go find those guys and you see what kind of inventory they've got. You're doing your numbers. You don't care what they want for the house, right? You then want to give them an offer for what you can pay for it. Now, are you giving them the offer that you can pay? Or are you doing a little
I'm
finessing?
starting lower. I'm starting lower than that.
Starting lower. Yeah.
So because they're going to beat me up, right?
Yeah.
So
if you'd be willing to pay 130, you're not starting at 130.
No.
Where are you starting?
Probably 122, 123, something like that.
Oh, you're getting a nod number in there.
Yeah.
Just beating them up just a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're not being greedy. You're just saying, hey, I know you're going to beat me up. Let's be fair with each other, basically. So then you're working with those wholesalers. You're looking at their inventory. You're giving them offers. You're trying to get out to the property as fast as possible. If they want an offer before you go see it, that's what you're giving them. If they want an offer after you go see it, that's what you're giving them. That's the primary way that you're acquiring deals at a discount.
Correct.
Is that right?
That's correct.
Okay. Occasionally, a realtor, finds a distressed house. Are you typically having to find those off the MLS or Zillow, or are they calling you up? Help me understand. And I don't know what kind of percentage you're working with realtors to begin with.
Yeah, well, percentage wise, I mean, I would say less than 5% of the deals I've done.
No kidding.
Now, having said that, if I do see something that I think is a good fit, I mean, you can get them that way, right?
Yeah.
It's just harder to get them at the discount, right?
Gotcha.
If they're on the MLS, they're trying to get max money for it. But the thing that does happen is if you can establish relationships with realtors, you can get what's called a pocket listing. Yeah. Where before they'll call you and say, hey, I'm getting ready to list this. Is this something that would work for you?
Can you give me an offer?
Yeah. Can you give me an offer? Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, they want to make money quickly. Yeah. We want to make money quickly. Everybody wants to make money quickly. Move it down the line. Okay. Yeah. So then you have seen more success with sellers, direct to sell, like people who actually own the house, more than you even dealt with realtors. Is that fair to say?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So then with them, that lead comes in. I would imagine you're taking the same approach of, I got to call this person now, get out to the house as soon as possible. Or are you trying to put it under contract right away? Help me understand that.
If I'm direct to seller, I'm trying to put it under contract right away.
Right away. Yeah.
And then, I'll do a 2-condition close, which basically say, look, I can pay $130,000 as an example under 2 conditions. One is I need to get out and verify what you've told me the house needs, right?
See the property. Yep.
See the property.
Yep.
And the other one is we get the paperwork done today.
Yeah. And then that gets it under contract. And now, and why do you want to do that? Why do you want to get it under contract so soon with them?
Because I don't want it to go away.
Yeah.
Somebody else will get it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And you can always, the way I structure my contracts, there's always an inspection period in there.
Yep.
I typically like to get 10 days, but I could do 3 if I need to. Some avenue that lets me have an out, right? Because if I get in there and they've told me, oh yeah, the windows are great and the kitchen's great, and I get out there and we thought it was 20 and now it's $40,000 to rehab, then I can renegotiate. Or if I can't renegotiate it, then I just walk away.
Gotcha. Yeah. So then you get that thing under contract. You want to control it, right?
Yeah.
And so you do your due diligence, you do your process. If the numbers are right and that what they've told you is accurate, you're moving along with the deal. What happens if they're not accurate? Like, you assumed 10, 15 grand worth of rehab turns into 40. How are you approaching that?
Well, when I have to go back to the seller and explain, here's what really needs to be done to bring this house up to today's market standards, and here's what it's going to cost. Mm-hmm. And you got to remember, as a real estate investor, we get work done a lot cheaper than Joe homeowner.
Okay, yeah. Yeah,
right?
Good point.
Somebody they may look at a kitchen and say that's $25,000, right? We get it done for $8,000.
Yeah, so that's right.
So it's that type of discussion with them, assuming sort of a retail, the guys in the khaki pants and the wrap trucks doing the work versus the construction folks that I have.
Yeah.
So you can build a pretty good case, and most people, not all, but most people have done some sort of remodel project in their journey in life. And
they've hired those guys. Yeah. Because they wanted the guarantee, they wanted the warranty, they wanted the feel good, and they recognize, in fact, it's probably not uncommon that by the time you are even looking at this, they have had a realtor who has told them, hey, in order to get the top market value, you're going to have to change the kitchen, change the bathrooms, change the floors, this is going to cost you. And the realtor who's been hiring the wrap truck, khaki pants guys says, it's going to be 50, 60 grand. Maybe even had a contractor in there give them a real bid, 40, 50, 60 grand. And now they're doing the math and they're calling you and the math is mathing better for them, right? They may still net the same, but they're netting it sooner. Is that right?
Yeah. I mean, that's a fair point.
Yeah.
I think.
I mean, so what's not happening is you're not stealing houses from granny. Like no old lady is being like, oh, I got you're being fair to them. Is that fair to say?
That's my approach. Like I like to look in the mirror and be able to say, hey, okay, I'm
sleep
doing,
well
doing
at night.
The right thing. Yeah.
Sleep well at night and be like, yeah, I got to have a discount. I've got to make money. This is how I make, just like every other business. Yeah. What Walmart buys products for one price and sells it for a higher price is the same principle. This is how the world goes around.
Yeah.
So like for those who are a little squeamish about like, hey, you're dealing with someone with a distressed house or in a distressed situation, there is, you're taking advantage of people. It's just not the case. It's not the reality.
No.
Is that fair?
No. And I'm sure there's people out there that do that.
Right.
That's just not me.
Right. Got it. Yeah. I'm with you. So PropStream is the most comprehensive and AI-enhanced real estate data provider nationwide. We equip real estate professionals with powerful tools and marketing solutions, helping them make informed decisions and find top leads faster. Visit realwealthformula.com/sponsors for a special link to get a free trial and a ton of goodies only for you, Real Wealth Formula moguls. So to wrap it all up, at the end of the day, what you're doing is saying, I'm looking for a house that needs some work. Because of that, I'm getting a discount. And really what you're saying, because I can get the work done cheaper because I'm doing it out of volume or because I understand what things cost or whatever, I'm able to carve out a discount for myself.
Right.
It's just reasonable and practical. There's no magic to this thing. It's just math.
Yeah.
It's just numbers. Oh man, how did you get involved in all this? How'd you start doing real estate deals?
Yeah, it's interesting. I always, like a lot of people, I was like, I know I should be doing something in real estate. I don't know what that is. And I put 50 grand into an apartment syndication years ago. And so, but then I had a sewer business. I had a sewer locating.
Oh, no kidding.
Business.
Yep. That's right. Yep.
And I was like, and unfortunately we lost a major customer and I had a partner and he had just had a son. So I was like, look, why don't you take the business? I'm going to go find something else to do. And as I was working through that process mentally, I was like, if real estate's something I really think I should be in, why don't I just find some pros and go work for them?
Okay. Yeah.
So that's what I did.
Yeah.
And that was in 2018. Yeah. It's been a long journey of just learning and getting better.
And John, we've been working together on and off since 2018. Yeah. How many deals do you think you've done? I think you and I disagreed about this one time.
Yeah, we did. I think it's, maybe 250, something like that.
Oh yeah. No kidding. Yeah. Well, so you've come to my numbers because that's what I had for you. About 200, 250. Yeah. You were like, oh, I did like 100. I was like, what is he talking about? We did 51 in one swipe. You know what I mean? So it's like, true. Okay. Yeah. So like, what do you like about the business, man?
What I really like about it is no deals.
Yeah.
I mean, conceptually, the business is easy. Get a lead from a wholesaler, put it, get it under contract and
fix it up.
Yeah. It seems easy, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it's a very nuanced business and no deal's the same. Yeah. Could be title issues. The seller's flaky. Could be the construction that wasn't what we thought it was going to be. We discovered something when we really got into it. So, I mean, that's what makes it fun for me.
Yeah.
Is it's conceptually simple. It's difficult to be really good at it.
Yeah. Well, everything is different. As an excellent point. Even while we were dealing with some like technical issues recording this podcast, we got our TC, our transaction coordinator, coming in here. She's roaming around trying to put a deal together, right? Brenda. And she's saying, we need this payoff, but this borrower won't do this. And we got to get this statement of authority and this resolution. And so like another unique thing, even sitting here at a table that you and I are dealing with, makes it so that no two deals are the same.
And really and that's fun.
That is fun. We've been doing deals in a bunch of markets, right? And, we'll talk about, those other markets, but one market is not the same as the other one. Memphis is a different market than St. Louis, right? Now you're a Midwest guy. You grew up in Michigan, right? Did you go to not the University of Michigan?
Oh, God, no.
Oh, you want to jump across this table for me? You're a statey, huh?
Easy now.
I thought we were friends. You went to Michigan State.
I did, yeah.
Yeah. How much do you love Izzo?
Oh, man. If you don't love that guy,
yeah,
something's wrong with you.
Yeah. Tom Izzo, how long has he been, roughly? I don't know. How long has he been there?
Well, he's been the head coach for, I think this past season was his 30th season, but then he was an assistant for the previous coach for 15 or something. So he's been a part of the program for, 40, 45 years.
No kidding.
Yeah.
I think, from a coaching perspective, he's the gold standard.
Yeah.
Like he's the one who goes and says, there's a way to do this. There's a right way to do this. And then there's a wrong way to do it. And, I admire him. I'm not a statey. Is that what you guys call yourself? Statey? Sparties? Yeah, it's okay. I'm not a Michigan State fan. we live in Colorado. I'm not, been over there, but the way I look at it is, CU is a college that is around. We like, particularly with Prime coming in and all that hype, but like Michigan State, it's you bleed green, don't you?
Oh man. Yeah, it's my poor partner. She kind of leaves the house when the Michigan State game's on because I lose my mind.
Yeah. Well, John, man, I know we're coming to the close on this episode. Thanks so much for being out here doing a bunch of deals, helping explain that, number one, that you can acquire real estate at a discount. It can be done multiple different ways. The principles are pretty clear and make sense. We're not taking advantage of anyone, but that it's just, this is how you can do an alternative way of real estate. You don't have to, pay retail for real estate. In fact, we're not paying never paying retail for real estate. We're typically getting all in, we're getting 10, 15, 20% discounts from an all in perspective. Would you say that's fair?
Yeah, I think that's fair. 15, 10's a little tight for me.
Sure.
So 15, 20 would be better.
And part of it is, we're putting investors into these products. We're funding a lot of these deals with investor capital.
Right.
And so we've got to enter in these deals with a discount.
Yeah.
Justifies ourselves in the deal. It also makes it so that there's a margin of safety.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
Investors just don't want to place capital into things that are risky, and we don't want to put them in those situations either.
Right.
And so the tip of the spear is finding these deals. So, man, I appreciate you explaining that to our mogul listeners, watchers, whatever. John, thank you. How to acquire real estate at a discount. And for everyone else, we've got another episode coming up. So I will see you there. If something we said hit home for you, drop it in the comments. I read every single one.
Thanks for tuning in to The Real Wealth Formula, hosted by Brad Hovis. If this episode helped you see money and purpose a little differently, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss an episode. Share with someone who's ready to build real wealth, and keep building the life, purpose, and freedom you were made for. Until next time, keep your goals clear and your wealth real.